has now been more than 2 weeks since Kevin Durant requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets, and nothing has changed. Jerry West is offering his thoughts on whether KD will eventually get traded or remain in Brooklyn. Take a listen.
To my best guess, he's not going to get traded. You can't give enough to get a guy like him. And I see, Utah makes a trade with Minnesota. I said, oh, my gosh. The assets they got for a terrific defensive player, what would Kevin Durant command?
Before about how it'd be really hard to get a fair value. Do you agree or disagree with Jerry West?
Skip, Jerry West is like, WTF, what did Minnesota do for a terrific defensive? It is a specific defensive, not a player, a one-sided player. What is Kevin Durant? Again, goes back, Skip. You see somebody else in your neighborhood house go for this much. Your house is bigger with more amenities, and you was like, well, if his house went for that, I got to get double. So Kevin Durant, people thinking, well, Kevin Durant, if Rudy Gobert went for 5 first-rounders, Kevin Durant got to go for 8 to 10. Nah, one team was foolish, and then the market corrects itself. Skip, man, to hear Jerry West say, Skip, that's one thing. Talking heads talk about, well, I believe he's going to do this. That's Jerry West talking. Jerry West says, my best guess estimate, he's going to be in Brooklyn. That made me sit back up in my chair like, well, damn. That man, he is not a man that just says stuff to get played on the radio, to get in the newspapers.
Absolutely not.
So to hear him say that, I'm like, well, damn. That's Jerry West. He talking like, oh, okay, KD.
Are you asking me to rescind the Diet Dew bet that we made earlier in the show?
KD might be stuck. He might be stuck. He might be stuck in Brooklyn because where he wanted to go, his very first choice was Phoenix, Miami. Those were the 2 choices that he said, Phoenix, Miami. It seems like Phoenix is the longest of the long shots now, given that they've re-signed DeAndre Ayton, and he can't be a part of any deal. So now, Phoenix doesn't have assets unless you include Devin Booker that they could potentially want to get Kevin Durant. So I believe it's off. Again, when I hear Jerry West says, I don't believe he's going to get traded, yeah, it makes me think, damn, KD going to be stuck in Brooklyn again. But I'm gonna stick with it, Skip. He gets moved, he's going to Golden State. I'm going to stand by that.
Okay, but that's a big if that you are now waffling on.
Yeah, come back. Skip, Skip, I don't hear Jerry West talk very often. And when he talks, I do listen.
And he is one of the rare ex-great players. I mean, some people don't think. I think we.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah, he was great.
The logo. A lot of people think it should be Kobe now or
MJ. Yeah.
I got it.
Skip, he was a great player. Get that man his credit. He was a great player.
He is one who broke the mold of, because we saw what happened to Michael when he tried to own and operate Charlotte. It didn't work. It hasn't worked. And every place Jerry has gone, great things have happened with his team building.
Yes.
He saw Kobe coming before anybody else saw Kobe coming.
He traded Blotty.
He did. So the point is, there's one other quote that we didn't see him say, but he said it right before the quote you just saw. And he said, I happen to know Kevin really well from the time they were together in Golden State. Because he was advising Golden State. He's one of the nicest people that you ever want to be around. He's a serious basketball player. This guy does not neglect his craft. People misread him, who he is as a person. This is one of the greatest players we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So that is extreme praise from Jerry West, who I don't think doles it out indiscriminately. I think it's got to be significant for him to say that about Kevin Durant. So he's completely sold on Kevin's value, which is why he's saying you can't replace him. You can't get what he's worth.
But he said something that I'm going to disagree with. He said you can't give up enough to get a player like Kevin Durant. Yes, you can, because if in a year he wants to move, then what?
Okay, well, that's a whole nother issue.
But that's something you got to keep in mind, because he's bouncing on them with 4 years left on the deal. James Harden, What did he do to Brooklyn Nets? What did they give up to get him? And then within a year, boom, he bouncing it up out of there. Okay, let's just say Sacramento. I give you De'Aaron Fox. I give you Sabonis. I give you 3 first-rounders. He goes there. A year later, man, I want to bounce. I want to go somewhere else. I'm unhappy. What have I done, Skip? I gave up a 24-year-old De'Aaron Fox. I gave up an all-star in Sabonis, and I gave up 3 draft picks. Now what?
Okay, I got it. All of which is why Kevin Durant, I believe, and I've said from the start, is going to be a Brooklyn Net next year. And I believe his teammate will be a guy called Kyrie Irving. They both will play for Brooklyn with Ben Simmons next year. That's what I.
Are they going to run it back?
Well, there's nothing to run back, but they're going to be back. Whether they like it or not, they're going to be back. I'll give you my one long shot here.
Okay.
And I hear everything. You make a lot of sense in what you propose about what Golden State has to offer, but still, you can add it all up, and it's not Kevin Durant.
No.
I still don't think he would want to go back. Not that he has trade veto power, because he doesn't have any.
Right, he doesn't have a no-trade clause.
4 years left on a deal with no trade.
Okay.
No trade.
Correct.
There's one man who I hold in the highest regard, just the way I do Jerry West, who also has deep Laker connections. That man is now running the Miami Heat, and that man is Pat Riley.
Yeah. What they got?
If anybody can figure something out like this in ways that are not
We just don't see it right now.
You can't, to the naked eye, you can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, and by all accounts, he is feverishly working behind the scenes to try to figure something out.
Well, remember, Skip, when Kevin Durant was becoming first available in OKC, they didn't give D. Wade a max contract because they were trying to save for Kevin Durant.
Okay.
So.
Because I believe Pat thinks of Kevin just what Jerry thinks of Kevin.
Of course. And you should. Everybody should.
And in so doing, Pat says, I want to win at least one more title here before I'm finished.
Right.
And the one guy who can do that the fastest for me is that guy.
Yeah.
If, in fact, he is available, I have to figure out how to go get him at any cost. I got to. Now, it might be to the point.
You got to give a Bam.
But it might be like Melo going to the Knicks, where you look around and say,
well, that defeats the purpose.
Nobody's here.
Right.
Right?
I mean, are you willing to give up Jimmy Butler? Are you willing to give up Bam? Now, obviously, with Bam, you're going to have to move Ben Simmons because you got 2 guys on rookie max contracts, and that can't be. I don't know how that rule came to be, but it is what it is. So what are you going to be? Are you willing to gut the team? That defeats the purpose of Skip. If I can't keep Jimmy, if I can't keep Bam to pair them with Kevin Durant, what have I done?
Nothing. I would agree. But knowing him, he has a master plan in place that is beyond our comprehension. And I remind you, and I don't need to remind you, but once upon a time, he went trio. He managed to pull off LeBron's taking his talents to South Beach with Bosh, with D. Wade, and you know what happened.
Right.
Okay? Well, that's what he sees now with Kevin. But it's impossible to pair him with a Wade and a Bosh because it's not set up for that to happen right now.
Right. Those guys, the difference is
free. They were free.
Agents.
Free.
Yes.
LeBron was free and Bosh was free.
Yes.
And Dwayne was already established on the map with a championship ring.
He was already